Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Coach Prime does it again, and he's going to do it a few more times, but just continue to being active in the transfer portal. And as we're monitoring this Colorado roster overhaul, you might even call it a rebuild of this program and of this team. Coach Prime lands the first running back of the transfer class in Kavosiey Smoke. In my opinion, a very, very exciting get. Before we get into the player and where he fits into this program, again, I just want to say thank you to you guys. This has been a very, very fun experience for my brother and I, talking about the different transfers, especially talking about Colorado. We're kind of really closely monitoring this rebuild, as in my mind is probably the most exciting story in college football heading into 2023 is what Coach Prime is doing in the roster overhaul is taking place in Colorado. And Kavosiey Smoke is the latest one. But before we do, I just thank you guys for the support. If you do enjoy the content, you like talking ball, consider subscribing to the channel. We really do appreciate all the support. We love making these videos, and we love talking ball with you guys in the comment section. Let's get into the player, Kavosiey Smoke. So this is a guy that very, very experienced. 5 years at the University of Kentucky. And I remember this is a guy that his redshirt freshman year in 2019, this is all the way back before COVID, really caught my eye. They were kind of running that with Lynn Bowden. I don't know if many of you guys are familiar with what Kentucky was doing in 2019. They lost 3 starting quarterbacks, and they just started running the Wildcat. And Kavosiey Smoke, 101 carries on the year, 616 yards. He was averaging 6 yards per carry. He also added 6 touchdowns. This was a guy that looked poised to kind of be that Kentucky dude at the running back spot for years to come. And he battled some injuries, but also Chris Rodriguez, the running back, who is eventually the starting running back for Kentucky the last couple of years, kind of took over that RB1 spot. And that doesn't say anything about Kavosiey Smoke as a player. That says a lot more about what Chris Rodriguez is as a player. He's going to be a top 10 running back in the 2023 NFL draft. And Kavosiey Smoke continued to be a very good running back too at Kentucky, averaging over his career 5.5 yards per carry. Very complete running back, 6 feet, 215 pounds. He runs the ball hard, but also has that really good short area quickness. Another thing that I would mention about Kavosiey Smoke is he's played in 3 different offenses during his time at Kentucky. He's had a lot of different offensive coordinators. And one thing you can be pretty confident in with this player is he's going to come in, he's going to be really reliable. And I mean reliable in terms of not turning the ball over, but also in pass protection. And that's something that, as kind of I've grown as a college football fan, it's very, very important for those college football running backs. And no doubt Coach Prime, I should say, is looking at this Colorado team and saying, I need to protect Deion Sanders, kind of the star quarterback coming in. The offensive line, definitely still some question marks at that position, although I think Coach Prime has done a phenomenal job rebuilding the trenches. You noticed in the TCU game against Georgia, if you guys watched on Monday night, TCU's working in their second string running back and really struggled in pass protection, not really recognizing what blitzers are coming, linebackers coming, and kind of failing to pick up pressure in pass protection. Kavosiey Smoke's a guy that's played a lot of football for Kentucky. He's seen a lot of things. And for my mind, like, he's going to be a very, very good pass protector as well, because Colorado's going to want to sling the football around it. You got to be able to protect Deion Sanders. If this Colorado team wants to have success in 2023, Deion Sanders, he's going to need to play all 12, 13 games for this team, because the quarterback depth we've talked about is not that great. Now, getting into like what this team looks like now, again, we're trying to just monitor the roster rebuild that is taking place. 21 transfers now that have come into Colorado. And we said before this process even started, when Coach Prime got the job and was starting to have some transfers trickle in from Jackson State and some G5 programs, was Coach Prime's probably going to take 40 guys in this transfer portal season, whether it's in this period of the transfer portal or after spring ball, when guys kind of shake out where they are on the depth chart and then want to leave and go to another school. And I think you're going to get maybe another 5-6 guys through the portal in this period, but I would expect Colorado to get very, very active after spring ball when Coach Prime gets there and he sees what he needs, right? He goes through spring practice, sees what he's working with from the players who are at Colorado. He's like, okay, this linebacker spot, this needs some work, and we're going to go out and get some linebackers. I think you're going to see 15 or 20 more guys through the portal after spring ball as well. One Coach Prime kind of understands it better, gets a better understanding of where this team is at a depth chart standpoint and what position groups they might need to solidify, whether it's starters or it's reserve guys who are adding depth to that position. But again, there's a lot of, we talk about quantity over quality with transfers, and you're seeing Coach Prime definitely go the quantity route, but I would argue that a lot of these guys are quality dudes. You look at the last three guys he's brought in are all SEC level dudes who are 3 and 4 stars out of high school. Miles Slusher started at Arkansas. Yusef Mugarabil, we talked about him. He probably would be slated to start for Florida pretty darn soon if he didn't have that moped accident. Kavosiey Smoke has been in and out of the starting lineup for Kentucky, but he's been getting a lot of work at that running back spot. This is a team that is getting legit talent from the SEC, from the ACC, and you're starting to see them build out a really, really complete team through just the transfer portal. And you look at what Colorado kind of struggled to do. They struggled to do pretty much everything. Stopping the run and running the football was kind of their biggest bugaboo. They averaged under 4 yards per carry running the football and allowed over 6 yards per carry on defense to opposing running backs. And so you're seeing him address the trenches, but you're also seeing him come back and say, we got to be able to run the football a little bit too. No better way to do it than add a guy like Kavosiey Smoke, who's had a lot of carries. I want to get his total carries. He's had over 290 carries during his career at Kentucky. He's going to come over to Colorado and say, I'm not sure if he's going to be the bell cow, especially as you got Dylan Edwards coming in, the former Notre Dame commit who has some serious speed. Dylan Edwards is going to play for Colorado, I think. I don't think you can keep that kind of speed off the field. I think he needs to work on that body, 5'8", 165 pounds, probably not big enough to be kind of a bell cow running back. But Kavosiey Smoke is going to come in and be a guy that he can give 10 to 15 carries to and then work Dylan Edwards in space, whether it's some swing passes, whether it's some running back draws, whether it's some screens. You're going to want Dylan Edwards to touch the ball, but I think many Colorado fans know that he's probably not a guy that's getting 20 to 25 touches his first year at Colorado just because he's not the biggest cat we've ever seen. You add a guy like Kavosiey Smoke, who is a veteran dude who's very experienced. I think it's a great addition for Coach Prime. And again, you continue to see the roster rebuild that has taken place. A very, very exciting developing story in the landscape of college football. Wanted to keep this one short, but did want to talk a little bit about the transfer of Kavosiey Smoke. Again, if you guys do appreciate the content, you enjoy it, you like talking ball, consider subscribing. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.